Hello, Hazard from Hazard Reviews here, reviewing today, doing something different. I'm actually reviewing a short film. Yeah, it seems strange I'm giving a solo, a full review for a short film, but especially since the only film I have, or short film I have done before was Disney's Once Upon a Studio, but I included that in Wish, my full review of Wish. This, I'm doing this for a full scale review for a short film, but in this case, I feel like it's warranted just because, well, I'm a huge fan of the author, and I just feel like I have a lot more to talk about considering that. So, the wonderful story of Henry Sugar. Yep, I'm talking about this. So I guess, as you know, I'm a huge Roald Dahl fan, um, and I should mention I have read the wonderful story of Henry Sugar and six more. So, and I am, and I was, to be fair, I was a little bit, I wouldn't say confused, but it's like, okay, um, fine, you can do it. I mean, it does make sense why one of the few Roald Dahl stories that, well-known Roald Dahl stories that has been made into a film, into a film format. But when it was announced, I was like, okay, sure. Um, but the thing is, this is a short story collection, so I was a little bit worried about what they would do with this. But if there was one thing that got me excited for it was that Wes Anderson was going to direct it. Now, I'm pretty sure you've noticed, you remember from my Fantastic Mr. Fox review, is that I love Wes Anderson's adaptation of Fantastic Mr. Fox. Definitely in my top two adaptations of Roald Dahl stories. I mean, while it's not as overall faithful to the original story as is Danny DeVito's Matilda was to the original book, this was like a Wes Anderson's Fantastic Mr. Fox was like a love letter to both Dahl and the history of the original book. I mean, I loved it all for just the look, the acting, the references, the set, the design of everything, the ending being a reference to the original ending that Dahl had originally wrote for the book. I was like, oh man, that's just fantastic. It was just like a love letter. And knowing how much Wes Anderson is a huge was a huge Roald Dahl fan, and how much of an influence Dahl had on on him as a child, got me really excited for the. It was, you can honestly see it. I mean, I just, yeah, I loved Fantastic Mr. Fox. So when I heard that Anderson was going to do another Dahl adaptation, I was like, definitely good choice, definitely. Was Of course of course, being a short film, I was like, okay, sure, yeah, released for Netflix, all right. But yeah, I was just excited for that. And let me just say this: this may not be a feature length film, but it's still a great adaptation. Oh my goodness, Anderson just knocks it out of the park again with a Roald Dahl adaptation. My goodness, like it's in many ways being a short film and obviously based on short stories. Now they don't include every one of the short stories in the original book. I think they only do maybe two or three. But what they do with this is just it's just absolutely perfect. Like my goodness, like I just felt like I was watching. It almost felt like a play, actually. In fact, that's the best way to put it. Is that it's this short film is structured like a play with how the set changes, um, being revolved back and forth into each scene and everything. The characters all just speaking directly to the camera, and just basically reading off the text of the original story, the of the original story, I should say. How they turn to how they even mention how they even go to break the fourth wall at certain moments. I was like, that's perfect. I just love how this all goes, and just it's just so incredible. Just fun to see them do this, and I've watched this so many times that I can't get bored of it. It's just fantastic how they were able to handle it. Anderson, it definitely looks like, and there are all the backgrounds look very similar to how the Wes Anderson films, including a bit of Fantastic Mr. Fox, which isn't a problem with me. I think, and I think, now I think about it, I think I really enjoy Wes Anderson's looks of his films when it comes to Roald Dahl adaptations. I mean, some I don't think would have worked. Like if Wes Anderson was ever did a remake ever did his own adaptation of James and the Giant Peach, I don't think it would work. Same thing with The Witches, I think. That's something I just don't think he would it would mesh well. But if he was to do Danny the Champion of the World, which I really want to see get turned to a film for a second time, because I mean, the last adaptation was basically, I think, a TV play, pl TV movie that was based on a play. I think it was 1988 or 89 with Jeremy Irons as Danny's father. I just feel like they should really give that another shot. Right? It just feels like something that that deserves another shot of being, released in a movie format. Though I just want to be curious. What was Roald Dahl's original? What did Dahl think of the adaptation of Dane Champion of the World? I mean, I'm curious because I've looked into it so many times, and because this was released before Roald Dahl died. But unlike his thoughts on the adaptations of Willy Wonka, the anime BFG, or nine the 1990 Witches movie, I can't find any information to say whether Dahl liked the Dane Champion of the World adaptation. If anyone can find anything about that, let me know because I really do want to learn about it. Yeah. But yeah, as I said, I really like it. The fact that all the characters speak every actor speaks really fast. With the exception of one, I think it actually works to its advantage just because of how well, not just because of the short film being this is a short film, but the fact that I think it works just because of the way they're telling the story. And I just was like, I'm not a big fan of fast talkers when I think at certain points, but with this, I think it worked really well. And just the way that even telling the story and how you hear how they juxtapose a skip in time, like when we get to the end with Henry Sugar and his accumulating his fortune, and how he kept doing it over so many years. Um, I thought it really did work, and it just was like, yeah, it's hard. It felt really well done. All the actors do a good job in this. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch, I was really impressed with how well he handled what he did as Henry Sugar. Um, yeah, I think this might be one of my favorite performances of Ben Cumberbatch. Now I think about it. Dev Patel, I've never really I don't think I've reviewed that many things with him in it. Actually, I don't really think I have, but he's a really good actor. I mean, well, he's first major role in in Hollywood being M Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender went as bad as well as you think. Well, actually, he wasn't the worst in Last Airbender, but yeah, I mean, not the best way to start. He eventually started to gain better roles. In particular, in particular, his Oscar uh nominated performance in Lion. Yeah, that was really good, and he does a good job with his character here. But I think but my favorite actor in this definitely is Ray Fiennes as Roald Dahl. I mean, when I heard that Fiennes was going to be playing Dahl in this, like Roald Dahl himself, I was like, all right. So I didn't know if this was a good idea because I've never really pictured Ray Fiennes portraying uh, portraying Dahl, portraying Roald Dahl in anything. But once the makeup, I gotta say the makeup that they do with Fiennes in this to make him look like Dahl is really good. I should mention, but I was again very concerned, but I was really unsure what they're going how he would be in this. But once I heard him speak and just seen him sit on this set that in the style of the Roald Dahl's Riding Hood at Gypsy House, I was like, okay, you've won me over. That was perfect. Like I I could not believe that was Ray Fiennes. Like I mean most of us know him more as in his villain roles, but of course he's done other stuff that where he's more of a hero or likable person. But yeah, this was just it was fantastic. Like I thought I really love Ray Fiennes in this. Like my goodness, he knocked it out of the park. if you could nominate an actor for say best supporting role in a short film for an Oscar, Ray Fiennes definitely would be one of them in my view. I just I loved it. I thought he was fantastic. The music is probably the one thing that's a little bit weak, just because there's not much in it. But for what little they do include in it, it's worked pretty well actually. Yeah, I'm giving. Yeah, it's the only thing I would have liked a little bit more, but I think for what they were trying to do with this, I think it worked. Yeah, just that's the only criticism. I wanted more, but it worked in for what little we had. So yeah, I what can I say? I love Wes Anderson's wonderful story of Henry Sugar. Whether I put this above Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I would probably say no, just because this is a short film, so it should be judged a little bit differently. But it definitely is. It definitely is now within my top 4 or 5 adaptations of Roald Dahl stories. Like, my goodness, I want Wes Anderson to do more Roald Dahl adaptations. Like as I said, I really want him to maybe try Danny the Champion of the World at some point. In fact, I just want anyone to give a show of doing that. Um, of course, I know the next adaptation of a Roald Dahl story will be The Twits. Long overdue, to be honest. But we'll wait till next year before that to come out, I think. I think you're, I'm just going to double check. But with that said, I love Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I'm glad it's been nominated for an Oscar. Hopefully it wins. Really do hope. I got to give this a 10 out of 10 hat stars. I just really enjoyed it. I've watched this about 4 or 5 times already, and I still love it. It's fantastic. I, I, I laughed, I smiled, I had a fun time. What can I say? It's just fantastic. And I know it's probably not my regular idea, a regular plant. I won't be doing this more often, reviewing short films, unless I feel like I have enough to talk about. But with this, I'm willing to make an exception. Yeah. So what's next? Actually, before I get back to doing movie reviews, which there will be one coming up. My next video. I'm going to do my next video in my series of showing my video game collection. Yep, I'm doing that. I figured now's probably a good time to do it. And we're not doing anything Nintendo related. It's not a Nintendo console this time. We're actually jumping towards Microsoft. Yeah, we're going to do Xbox 360 games. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Slash Connect. But in the meantime, House of Masterpieces out, and I shall see you for my next video. Ciao.